So you're this little creature known as the Vril, and you have a proboscis on the top of your head that can pop out of it and enter the eye of another being in which you can live and use as a host. Is it possible that a small little being, the likes of a Vril, can enter the eye and overcome the person inside using their memories, vocal cords, and everything?
You would not, you would have a hard time believing it.
Like a computer, erasing the person entirely, but promising the person immortality, not really informing the person that once you're possessed as a host, you're dead.
These creatures are called the Vril. They come up from underground different spots all over the world. These things have always been under us. These bloodline families, they're just lizard helpers, and lizards favored them in the past. They used to bring them up gold and gems from underground that they mined, and they would trade people gems and gold, and they would give them animals, children, all kinds of things, and just cart them down tunnels and cages.
The price of fame. Just what is the cost? How do you let the devil know your soul is for sale? Unknowingly selling your body and basically ending your existence as you know it. For the deception is, I'm available. My eyes open to enter. And then it's entered, and the person inside no longer exists. They think they're going to exist, but their body's taken over, so's their brain, memory banks, everything that they once were and had access to regarding memories and intelligence is available to that which enters their body and uses it as a host, giving your body and brain inside out to something that will imitate you, mask you, recall your own memories to your friends so that it does definitely appear that you're still alive.
Some of these things, Brotherhood of the Snake, Dragon Society and stuff, it's all about lizards. They come up underneath the underground bases. The underground bases have connecting tunnels underneath of them, and they go way down deeper. They need a methane oxygen mix to breathe, and deep underground they got sulfur pools, I guess, that make this stuff.
Then, to let the other little Vril know that this body's taken, they cover the eye, based on conjecture and speculation. The ultimate deception. Imagine thinking you're going to be extremely famous because you sold your soul, unknowing that you're meeting your end, that once your body's overtaken, you no longer exist. You basically committed suicide.
There's 3 types. There's a 1 to 1.5 foot tall one. That's the Vril type 1. The type 1s are covered in red diamond-shaped scales. Vril type 1s are real dumb. Little dragons, those are the Vril type 1s. There's a type 2 that is not parasitic, but it's still vicious, nasty, carnivorous. They're all carnivorous. Vril type 2 are a little smarter. And there's a type 3 that's 8 feet tall, has a real long neck, and looks like a gray alien. And Vril type 3 runs the previous 2 kinds.
But you become a puppet, a marionette. They're taking pictures to show that they're available. This is based on conjecture and speculation again. Please understand that. What are these hand signs? The open hand OK sign that we're so familiar with, everything's A-OK. What is the deal with it over these eyes? Is it a way of saying, vacancy, here's a host for you if you'd like? Because the differences in stars that are going on, I'll present a few pictures, there's a change, a dramatic change. Are these stars saying they're available? And once their bodies are used as a host, and the Vrils entered them, taken, closed, no longer available? And can a host be entered into by another Vril once a host is being used by a Vril? And an inner battle go on between the 2 Vril inside that human host? It looks like it's very possible.
You would not you would have a hard time believing it.
Author and internet radio host Sherry Schreiner has spoken of the link between these black eyes and soul scalping. According to Schreiner, government leaders, people on TV with their own shows, and hundreds of popular entertainers have sold their souls to Satan. You cannot be on TV now without signing the dotted line. The bizarre recurrence of facial bruises on Illuminati politicians and entertainers has resulted in speculation that their souls have been replaced in a satanic ritual called soul scalping, she says.
You would have a hard time believing it.
Schreiner, who died earlier this year, believed all the powerful people in the world have been soul scalped, whereby the human soul is removed and the body taken over by the demonic entity. In conspiracy circles, the process is also known as a walk-in. So in essence, the person inside is killed, and that which they're calling a demonic entity enters the person and becomes their personality, uses it to mask itself. But what would an entity be other than a living thing? Robert Downey Jr. appeared to have bruising around his left eye while attending a glitzy event back in 2005. Adam Sandler, pictured in 2011 here, previously joked his black eye was caused by a pregnant Drew Barrymore's unborn child punching him. The late David Bowie also appeared to sport a black eye while performing in 2005, which was described as being just for theatrics.
You would have a hard time believing it.
Boy George claimed the shiner he sported at the Brit Awards in 2014 was fashion victim makeup. Meanwhile, George W. Bush has been quizzed about his shiners each time he's been spotted with them. He attributed the first one in 1992 to a rather overzealous snowballing from his grandchildren, the second in 2004 to fall off his bike, and more recently he claimed he'd been hit in the face by a microphone stand when it swung around and whacked him during a speech. Royals have also been photographed with black eyes in the past, including Prince Philip. Prince Andrew was also pictured with bruising under the eye while attending the Countess Mountbatten of Burma's funeral in 2017. The Pope was said to have hit his eye when riding through the streets of Cartagena, Colombia, in the Pope-mobile last year. Several news reports stated that he had made a joke about the injury, saying that he'd been punched. Conspiracy theorists have pointed out that even members of the royal family have been spotted with black eyes over the years. When asked about Prince Andrew's injury, a Buckingham Palace spokesperson said, "This is not something we would comment on." Former Democrat leader Harry Reid was pictured with bruising around his left eye in 2011. The bruised left eye has also been referred to as the Illuminati Shiner, a mark given to those who have scaled their way to the top of the elite pyramid. Some researchers suggest a link between the bearers of black eyes to the worship of the Egyptian sun god Horus, whose left eye was black and represented the moon, and whose right eye was white and represented the sun. The story goes that he lost his left eye in a fight with his brother Set. In an article on America First Patriots, writer Noah Christopher questioned why so many politicians have black eyes. He says, sure, it's possible that a bunch of politicians just randomly started running into things and getting black eyes all about the same time. Reddit users have also given their points of view. One wrote, "It is bizarre as hell how many of them have black eyes. I grew up fighting a lot, even some bar fights, and I've had maybe one black eye in my whole life, and not nearly as bad as those."
You would have a hard time believing it.
It was taken from the www.dailymail.co.uk. DonaldMarshall.com. There's never been a more comprehensive and informative expose of their appearance, ecology, and behavior ever before. David Icke is not going to tell you about them. This is your one chance to know about the lizards. Do not squander this opportunity. Read all relevant posts at DonaldMarshall.com. Why do they cover up the left eye in some photos and then have in other photos the eyes open? It's almost as if they're saying, "I'm available," when they're doing the OK sign over the left eye, or etc. Like, I'm available to be possessed. Now, like saying he's covered up the eye, that would imply, to my level of conjecture and speculation, he's been taken. This body's not available anymore. What do you think? Think it's possible that they're basically advertising, and once they've been used as a host, they become part of the Black Eye Club, Who is punching them? Madonna, Brad Pitt, Adam Sandler, George Bush, John Kerry, Barack Obama, the Pope, Ben Affleck, Boy George, even John Cleese.
You would not, you would have a hard time believing it.
It definitely seems to look like they're advertising to the pyramids or to the energy of the pyramids that here I am, I'm available. Took a picture where my eyes open. You can enter me, I'm available as a host. I wish to be used. Or be overtaken, because exactly, I think they're just overtaken. And the deception is they're no longer a person, but that which overtakes them mimics and mocks the person, so everyone thinks it is the same person, saying, I sold my soul. But that person's already dead. The vril that's overtaken the body is the one talking. It has access to all the memories, everything. It's going to talk the same, even sing the same, probably even get bigger and better at what it does. More musculature. You know, what happened to Alex Jones? This is what he looked like before. All of a sudden, are they advertising to the vril? I'm available. And then, after putting up that advertisement, posing with the hand covering the left eye, I've been taken, just based on speculation and conjecture, of course. Just thought I'd pose a few thoughts that are running through my mind as I'm looking through these pictures of opened eye, hand over the eye, then the hands covering the eye. It's no longer for sale. The open hand over the eye is for sale. The closed hand, not for sale, or sold. The red eye, black eye, could very well be the remnants of a vril entering through the eye, the left eye. What do these celebrities do? They attract children, young kids, like crazy. Go to Donald Marshall's site and hear what he thinks these things eat.
These lizards have a unique biological property of their bodies.
The lizards have what's called a proboscis.
It's an ejectable brain and spinal column.
The small ones they use to drone people, because the proboscis on young lizard type 1s, they're small enough to go into an eye and not ruin the eye, because they're supposed to do this to animals with bigger eyeballs, probably friggin' dinosaurs.
They parasite a human's brain. This top cap thing on the top of their head comes out. It pulls their spinal column along with it. The human would have to be restrained or unconscious.
The thing squiggles in through the eye. It does a spiral around the optic nerve all the way to a certain point, and it's driven there by taste. And they said once it gets there, it has the taste of butterscotch. It then starts what they call sweating the quill. The spinal cord stuff comes out of the spinal cord, and it's everything that the lizard is. The lizard's whole body is dead, and it can't go back in. It's one way.
The juice that's in the spinal cord gets excreted out of the tip of this thing. They're parasitic cells. The parasitic cells go into the brain.
The old person's consciousness is gone. The body is absolutely, totally dominated, and the lizard is smarter as a human. Over time, it'll develop a rash, it'll lose its hair.
And they're actually deficient. They're dumber than the original person.
And they mimic human behavior, and it knows that its life is dependent on it mimicking human behavior, so it does really well. Even with other animals, it's smart enough to instinctually mimic the animal's behavior.
Just based on what I'm seeing, the open eye, the hand over the eye, closed eye, for sale, sold. The red eye could very well be minor circumstantial evidence to prove that what Donald Marshall is saying is correct. And humans are so beautifully innocent that they're not going to believe that such a thing exists.
You would not, you would have a hard time believing it.
Using human bodies of celebrities and politicians as the host to corrupt humanity and to lead them to react in certain ways and program them to react in certain ways. Awaken to that there might be a programming going on. And there might be aliens amongst us right now. If Donald Marshall's right, if David Icke's right, they could be a very much part of it too.
The drones of 100 years ago erased any existence of these real lizards from Egyptian carvings on walls. They would smash them, or books that had anything in them about them, they would burn them.